Wheeling behind Boston, trying to get it back to her. That one's deflected. Boston collects. Mitchell, you bet! And the foul!
All right. Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. Today, we need to talk about something that has quietly been happening with the Indiana Fever over the past week, and a lot of fans are starting to notice it. If you've been paying attention to the Fever's social media lately, you'll probably see the same two names popping up over and over again: Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. The team has been posting workouts, highlights, and updates about them almost nonstop. It feels like every other post features one of those two players in the gym or getting ready for the upcoming season. But there's something else people have noticed. One name that hasn't really shown up in those recent posts is Kelsey Mitchell. Now that immediately got some fans talking. People started wondering if this means something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Is there a reason the Fever aren't posting her lately? Is there some kind of tension? Or could it mean the team isn't planning to keep her long term? At the same time, the Fever have been highlighting other players and moments too. Around St. Patrick's Day, we saw posts featuring KK Timpson and Lexi Hull. Then during International Women's Day, there were more features, including players connected to off-season competitions like Odyssey Sims. So naturally, some fans started connecting dots that might not actually be there. Here's the reality, though. This probably doesn't mean what people think it means. The biggest reason is simple. Kelsey Mitchell technically isn't under contract with the Fever right now. That's a huge detail a lot of people forget. Until the team officially brings her back under a new deal or makes a roster move, she's not technically part of the current roster. And that's where the core designation comes into play. Most insiders expect the Fever to give Mitchell that core tag. If that happens, it essentially guarantees she'll either stay in Indiana or be involved in a major trade. Either way, it gives the organization control over the situation. So the lack of social media posts right now, it's probably not some secret signal or hidden message. More than likely, the Indiana Fever are just waiting for the official contract situation to be finalized before they start promoting her again. And when that decision comes, things could get very interesting for this roster. Workouts, gym sessions, off-season preparation, it feels like every other post is focused on those two players. But one name that has been noticeably absent from most of these posts is Kelsey Mitchell. Now, normally, that might not mean much. Teams post different players all the time, depending on what's happening during the off-season. But the timing of this situation is what makes fans start asking questions. And the big reason for that is the new WNBA collective bargaining agreement. When the new CBA discussions were happening, most people around the league believed the situation with Kelsey Mitchell was pretty simple. The expectation was that Indiana would likely give her a 2-year Supermax deal. It made sense at the time because both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are still playing on their rookie contracts. That meant the Fever had some financial flexibility. The plan seemed straightforward. Keep Mitchell on a Supermax contract for a couple of seasons while the young core develops. Then, when Boston becomes eligible for a max contract, and later when Clark reaches that point, the team could adjust the roster accordingly. But something changed during those CBA negotiations. One of the big surprises that came out of those discussions was the introduction of what many fans started calling the Caitlin Clark rule. That adjustment changed some of the financial structure surrounding Supermax deals and how they impact the salary cap moving forward. Because of that change, the situation with Kelsey Mitchell suddenly became a lot more complicated. Instead of it being a near guarantee that she would sign a multi-year Supermax deal with Indiana, the math now looks different. The contract structure may only allow for a 1-year Supermax scenario, depending on how the Fever manage their cap space and future extensions. And once that possibility entered the conversation, everything became less certain. That doesn't mean the Fever don't want Mitchell. In fact, most signs suggest they absolutely would like to keep her. She's been one of the most consistent scorers on the team for years and has played a major role in helping the franchise transition into this new era. But now, the front office has to ask a much bigger question. does Kelsey Mitchell fit the exact timeline that the Fever are trying to build towards? Because while the excitement around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston is massive right now, championship windows in the WNBA often take time to develop. Just look at the journey of A'ja Wilson with the Las Vegas Aces. Wilson entered the league as a superstar and quickly became one of the most dominant players in basketball. She even won an MVP early in her career. But it still took several seasons before the Aces finally broke through and won a championship. A huge part of that title run was the arrival of Chelsea Gray, who had one of the greatest playoff performances we've ever seen from a point guard. During the 2022 playoffs, Gray was playing on another level entirely. She was hitting impossible shots, fadeaways, contested jumpers, off-balance floaters. It honestly felt like every time the ball left her hands, it was going in. That run helped push Las Vegas over the top and secure their championship. So when Indiana looks at their roster, they have to think about a similar long-term timeline. Maybe their real championship window isn't 2026. Maybe their best chance comes in 2027, 2028, or even 2029, when Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are entering their prime years. And if that's the case, then the Fever have to carefully consider every major contract decision they make right now. That's where the difficult part of the Kelsey Mitchell situation comes in. Because if the Fever believe their best chance to win a championship is several years down the road, they might consider turning Mitchell into future assets that align better with that timeline. For example, there has been speculation about whether Indiana could move Mitchell in a trade involving draft picks or young players. Teams that are trying to compete immediately might be interested in adding an elite scorer like her. Imagine a scenario where a team looking to make a playoff push decides to trade a high draft pick or multiple future picks in exchange for Mitchell. That kind of move could give Indiana more young talent to develop alongside Clark and Boston. Another possibility is targeting younger players who are still on rookie contracts. Those types of deals give teams flexibility because rookie contracts are cheaper and allow organizations to build deeper rosters. Of course, all of this is still speculation. Right now, there's no confirmed trade happening, and there's still a strong chance Kelsey Mitchell remains with the Indiana Fever. But the reason people are starting to talk about it is because the situation isn't as locked in as it looked just a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, many people believed there was a 95% chance Mitchell would stay in Indiana. Now, maybe that number is closer to 70 or 75%. Still likely, but no longer guaranteed. Another thing to remember is that Mitchell might not even be in Indiana right now. During the off-season, players are often training in different cities or spending time away from the team facilities. That alone could explain why the Fever's social media team hasn't posted much about her recently. Meanwhile, players like Lexi Hall or KK Timpson, who are currently around the team, are naturally going to appear in more posts. And when you see players like Lexi Hall or KK Timpson popping up in team content, it might simply mean they're currently with the team or under contract. So while fans are trying to read into every social media post, it honestly means a lot of these decisions are still being worked out behind the scenes. The Fever front office is likely having serious conversations right now about their long-term strategy. Kelsey Mitchell and her agent are probably having their own conversations about what kind of contract makes the most sense for her career. And until those discussions are finalized, there will continue to be uncertainty around the situation. One thing is clear, though. The Kelsey Mitchell decision could end up being one of the most important moves the Indiana Fever make during this entire rebuilding era. Because whether she stays as part of the core or becomes a key trade piece for future assets, that decision will shape the direction of the franchise for years to come. So for now, this is definitely a situation to watch closely. And honestly, it might remain a major talking point all the way up until the WNBA draft, or even until we finally see Kelsey Mitchell back in a favor practice uniform. Because until that moment happens, the questions surrounding her future in Indiana are not going away anytime soon. Okay, tell me what you think. Don't forget like and subscribe.